Spider's Wedding by David Kirk. Good morning, miss. A lovely day. Miss Spider spun around to see Ike hanging by his knees 3 inches from the ground. My good friend Holly, Ike went on, is someone you should know, but he's too timid to come down, or even say hello. They heard a snap and then a crash, and gasped as Holly tumbled. He flopped down at Miss Spider's feet, embarrassed, stunned, and rumpled. Miss Spider knelt to help him up. He blushed too shy to speak. She did demurely, "Won't you come to tea one day this week?" The color drained from Holly's face. He looked as though he'd swooned. His acorn hat slipped from his head. He gulped, "This afternoon?" And when she heard his little voice, it seemed to her somehow that she had known him always, though they'd never met till now. "Please pay attention when I speak. Stop daydreaming," barked May. Miss Spider's thoughts were still upon the man she'd met that day. May nagged, "You should get on with life. I thought by now you'd be a wife." "But Miss Spider tried to say. "You mustn't interrupt," sniffed May. May jabbered on and on and on. Miss Spider, with her patience gone, surveyed the clock and tapped the floor, but when a face peeked round the door, she whispered, "I apologize, but may I just now realize a gentleman who asked to call is waiting for me in the hall." "A man?" squealed May. "Well, finally!" She dashed right out so she could see, then screamed, "Get lost, you puny pest! She's waiting for her special guest." Miss Spider scurried toward the den. She took his hand and let him in. May cried, "How can I stop her folly? She's desperate if she's dating Raleigh." They talked of all their dreams and hopes, of art and nature, love and fate. They peered their toy kaleidoscopes and murmured thoughts I shan't relate. Then Holly held Miss Spider's hand. "I say no more, you understand, for private moments between spiders should not be witnessed by outsiders." Back home, May sniffed at Ike, her mate. "Miss Spider's come undone. That milksop Holly is her date. Go fetch a better one. Be certain he's intelligent, strong, handsome, brave, and elegant. Just find an 8-legged Mr. Right and bring him back by here tonight." Ike said, "But I think Holly is particularly nice. It's just not me who thinks so. You can go and ask the mice. They say he's helpful, wise, and kind, and always so polite. Perhaps he's just the one to be Miss Spider's Mr. Right." May gasped, "You've lost your senses too. That panty waist will never do. What difference if he's kind and wise? He isn't half Miss Spider's size. I see I'll have to go with you, for very clearly, Ike, you simply do not have a clue to what we women like. This fellow here, for instance, is no proper type at all. He's drunk so much petunia wine, he's hardly fit to crawl. His web is coarse and slovenly, with clothes strewn all about. I could not see Miss Spider's wed to that disgraceful lout. I'm certain even you can see these spiders will not suit. The green one is a crybaby, and the white one is a brute. Our gentle friend could not endure the likes of either one, I'm sure. How could she hope to overcome this temperament so quarrelsome? Now there's a really handsome hunk of spider spicemen, a bevy of admirers wait to fawn all over him. His web is tidy and well made, his shoes all in a row. The length of nose to eyebrow is a perfect ratio." May called, "Oh, Spider, sir, yoo-hoo! I've got the perfect girl for you." She whispered, "Now I'll put things right." "I hope," squeaked Ike, "he doesn't bite." "Please tell me of this lovely miss," the Spider's strong man cooed. "Is she a beauty? Is she rich? And is she in the mood to be adroitly charmed and wooed by dashing handsome me? But how could it be otherwise?" He laughed triumphantly. "Why don't you beetle darlings wait right here till I come back? I'll make for you a tasty little snack. You'll find it cozy on my web. The view is fine from here, so rest your tired abdomens until I reappear." Miss Spider later welcomed in this strange anarchid gentleman. His air was fine, his manner grand. He bowed and kissed her dainty hand. "I've journeyed here, dear lady, from the land of falling leaves. Please let me introduce myself. I'm called Spideress Reeves. Fair princess, to that distant place flowed stories of your charm and grace, but none of them, I must confess, prepared me for your loveliness." He peered around the drawing room at all the finery. He coveted the furnishings, the carpets, and settee. All this he thought would soon be mine if she and I were wed. He mused, her house will suit me well, but here is what he said. "My darling, I can plainly see that you are everything to me. I long to know the soul within your lovely exoskeleton. Is it mere chance, no, is it fate, that soon we shall cohabitate? 'Twas set down by a will divine that I am yours and you are mine. My angel, let us not delay. The sly spider is pled. Tomorrow is the perfect day for you and I to wed." Kind sir, you move too fast for me, Miss Spider cried protestingly. My love already has been spun, and promised to another one. You cannot mean, Spider's howled, that you're rejecting me. Tell me this loathsome rival's name. I'll squash him like a flea. His hot breath sprayed Miss Spider's face with all the force he had. He screamed. You will reveal his name, she said. I won't, you cad. He turned his back and brayed. I must go find and grind him into dust. So foolish woman be forewarned. Spider's reefs shall not be scorned. At that same moment in the hall, poor Holly, staring at the wall, could dwell on one and just one thought. Does she love me? Does she not? He could not sleep although he tried. His weary brain was occupied, envisioning her fine assets, her gentle curves, her spinnerets. Those emerald eyes so deep, so green, like nothing he had ever seen. Her sweet round face, that pointed nose, and lips to shame, the red, red rose. He tossed and tumbled in his web, recalling every word she said, then placed the garden in the gloom, as shadows swept across the moon. Just then there was a little sound that didn't seem quite right. He cocked his head and heard two voices whimpering in fright. He rushed to find poor Ike and May and rip their sticky bonds away, but turned when someone in midair roared, Speck, what are you doing there? I'm merely snipping a few strands, kind sir, because you see you've caught this beetle couple in your web mistakenly. It's only luck that brings me here, down from my web above. I'd be asleep but for the thought of dear Miss Spider's love. And so it's you, Spider snarled, who dares to interfere. There's been just one mistake, my friend, but I shall fix it here. You freed those tasty beetles I was going to eat in bed. That's just too bad, for now I'm forced to eat you up instead. Holly's laugh flashed before his eyes, peering up at that toothy jaw. As everything was growing dim, fading out, he thought he saw an angel swoop down in a gown of yellow flecked with black, who shrieked, Let go of him, you brute, and smacked the scoundrel's back. Drifting back to consciousness, Holly sensed someone he knew. Yes, yes, Miss Spider's lovely face came swimming into view. Darling, are you back with me? His spider nurse begged hopefully. I've tried 100 different ways to wake you up for 3 whole days. He gazed up on her reverently, then wobbling to her side, looked up into her eyes and whispered, Will you be my bride? A blush of scarlet tinged her cheek, her lips a quiver could not speak. He stroked her gently with his feet. She murmured softly, Yes, my sweet. There they sat together in the sun, and when the day was through, they made a list of all the most important things to do. The crickets would be asked to play the music on their wedding day. The field mouse, woolly bears, and bees would cater an affair to please. I'll bake the cake, Miss Spider said, and weave my silken bells. Then Holly peeped, I'll spin a suit with silk-top hat and tails. We'll send an invitation out to every bug alive, with notices in every bush and treetop, hill, and hive. Can any have the slightest doubt, chirps Holly with a smile, the fairest creature in the world is walking down the aisle. To be my own beloved bride, my joy, comfort, hope, and pride. I feel my life has just begun, now she and I will be as one. Oh, see how handsome Holly looks, Miss Spider sings with glee. Of all the spiders in the world, he chose to be with me. We found the place where love abides, and share the warmth that it provides, for all those who have found the way to savor life's most sweet bouquet. The butterflies swirl high above to view the scene of spider love, and promise of eternal bliss, as Holly and Miss Spider kiss. The banquet tables loaded high with treats like crispy aphid pie, grilled dandelions and bug-eyed peas, sweet pickled grapes and mouse-milk cheese. With crickets fiddling in full swing, the katydids begin to sing. June beetles spin in pirouettes as clickbugs clack like castanets. The drinks are served by honeybee, petunia wine is flowing free. The guests are eager to give kisses to dear Miss Spider, now a missus. The bride and groom, at last withdrawn from all the chaos on the lawn, poise low upon a willow tree and hold each other tenderly. We see their forms in silhouette, their shapes are clear to us, and yet, how can we fully recognize the beauty seen through true love's eyes?